Flip your book and turn the page as we return now to Chad's perspective and find out just what shocked them so. They huddled by the door, looking out into the library. A large painting had swung open to reveal a hidden room. From their angle, they could just see TV monitors showing flickering images of their town. No, not just the houses, but inside the houses. Kitchens, bedrooms and bathrooms, basements, and even closets. The raised voices drew their attention back to the gathered figures exiting this hidden room. Their librarian, Mr. Fletcher, was waving his hands around as Principal Sinclair and Mr. Mayor stood by, a scowl on the former and the forever present unblinking metal vault boy smiling face on the other.
They didn't show up for class, that's all I can tell you.
You're telling me despite constant 24-hour surveillance, an enclosed community, the neighborhood watch, and the most advanced security system available in an age where replacement equipment isn't exactly limitless, you've lost him. And not just him, his sister and Moose Miller?
Principal Sinclair must be hitting you still. Didn't even get your name right.
Well, golly, Mr. Fletcher, you seem ever so agitated. Say, you know what always puts a smile on my face? An ice-cold Nuka-Cola from Brian's Candy Shop.
I don't want a soda, Mr. Mayor. I don't take kindly to insults and accusations.
Insults and accusations? Interesting, Fletcher. Let's examine that for a moment. What is your role here?
I'm a librarian.
No, Fletcher, that is an incidental function. So I'll ask you again slowly so a mind so filled with useless legalese can process it adequately. What is your role here?
To closely monitor the disruptor elements, the historically resistant and combative.
Correct. On the one hand, this scheme by the judge and yourself has met almost every expectation. We've returned to planned, orderly, consistent respawn rates, and have made significant progress correcting almost all of the errors this experiment was created to ensure we corrected. On the other, some individuals have proven to be either too dull or chemically resistant to conditioning efforts due to being drunks and junkies. Chad Johnson is a perfect storm of all three challenges, as are his friends to varying degrees. Now, this is the 8th time in a rotation that has broken routine, and this close to Harvesttide, we don't need him or his friends causing problems.
I'm telling you now, like I told you the last 7 times, I'm not one of your fucking Enclave underlings. I was a district attorney who is now some kind of glorified covert jailhouse guard. If you don't like the way I'm doing the job, take it up with the judge.
Oh, I have. And if you were one of my fucking Enclave underlings, you would have gone to the fields a long, long time ago. Now, as this is still unfortunately the judge's show, as per my superiors, that is not a call I make. Now, Mr. Mayor here, on the other hand.
Good afternoon. It's a beautiful day in Sanctuary Acres.
Isn't it just, Mr. Mayor? Now, you are my finest creation, the perfect embodiment of the spirit of this once great nation.
Well, golly. Thanks, Principal Sinclair. Some people get their kicks on Route 66. I get my kicks from 1767.
Mr. Mayor, our student Chad Johnson is intending on disrupting Harvesttide and the Harvest Festival.
Well, now that isn't neighborly. That isn't neighborly at all.
I agree. Would you be so kind as to ensure that he is collected along with his sister Amata and his friend Moose? Bring them to Somna's funeral home.
Oh boy! We'll get them HAPPY again in a jiffy.
That we will. The Harvest Festival must go off without a hitch. Ensure that it does by any means necessary.
That's what I'm here for. Directive received and integrated.
You got your name wrong, dude.
What is it?
I don't know. Almost had it. Can't remember now.
See, Fletcher? Easily handled. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to check on preparations for the big game.
There's one other matter.
A few isolated incidents that were swiftly contained. Pine Street was isolated and cleansed.
But we don't know what's causing the contamination. The neighborhood watch has had 6 incidents at the cemetery in the last week alone.
Incidents that were swiftly handled, and the contaminated were simply reset. No fuss at all. Oh, and the Harvest Festival dance.
Yeah, I know. Chaperone duty.
Wear something festive, Fletcher. After all, it's Halloween.
With that, Principal Sinclair strode away. Fletcher sighed, turned around, and paused. He then tilted his head thoughtfully, closed the hidden door to the surveillance room, and walked back to his office, closing the door behind him. Chad and his gang slowly closed the door and stared at each other in wide shock.
Chad, what's going on here?
I don't know, sis.
How are we going to get home?
Can't go home. They'll be watching the house. That's the first place they'll check.
Come on! Fletcher's in his office. I want to get a look at that surveillance room.
Moose, come on, dude, wait.
Before they could stop, Moose opened the door and crouched, moving swiftly towards the portrait on the far wall, keeping one eye fixed on Fletcher's office door. It remained closed. Chad and Amata darted after him, and in a moment they stood before the great portrait.
Moose, we need a plan.
This is it. You got any other bright ideas?
Well, no, but...
Then help me figure out how to open this thing.
There's usually a hidden latch or something. Hold on, let me feel... Here we go.
With a click, the painting released. Moose grinned and opened the hidden door wide enough for them to enter. One by one, they slipped into the uncomfortably warm surveillance room. The bank of monitors was wider than they had seen. Proof positive, if had been needed, that their idyllic town contained very little in the way of privacy. Chad's eyes widened at the scale model in the center of the room.
This is the entire town. Wall and everything.
Look here at the cemetery. What do these numbers mean? There's so many.
Search me. This is weird. What's going on here? Why are they hiding?
Hey, check it out. It's Nurse Bigsby's bathroom. She's getting in the shower.
What a rack. Hey, dude, does this thing have a zoom?
Chad, what's gotten into you lately?
Well, Amata, at our age, your body starts changing. Your voice deepens.
Your balls drop.
And you may find yourself taking interest in certain features and potential mates. We call this time pollen season, when busy little bees get together with delicate flowers.
And deflower them.
Good one, bro.
Yeah, I know.
God, you two are so annoying lately. Hey, look at this.
Hey, Moose, give me some more of that moonshine. This stuff is lit. What is it, sis?
It's a Pip-Boy. Just like the ones Mom and Dad had back in the vault. I always wanted one.
So take it. 5-finger discount.
Next period.
Okay, genius. So with everyone looking for us, how are we supposed to lie low?
I don't know.
Hey, I got an idea. The Drama Society has a whole prop closet full of costumes. We pop on a costume, and with everyone getting into the spirit for the big game tonight with masquerade masks, we can stroll on by with no one the wiser.
Well, hang on. What about the game?
That's not a bad idea. But what are we supposed to do after that?
We'll figure it out. I promise.
Okay, but how, Chad? They're watching the house. Mom and Dad are going to freak out if we don't come home.
Well, hell. Principal Sinclair said we're going to cause trouble, so that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm betting folks around here won't be too pleased if they find out someone's been playing peep show on them.
Sure, okay. But how?
We'll tell them. Town Hall has a broadcast tower. We'll tell everybody tonight when they're home waiting for the broadcast, like always.
Well, hang on. What about the big game? I'm quarterback.
Well, you should have thought of that before going inside that house.
I didn't see anyone twisting your arm, sis.
Oh, can it, meathead?
Pancake tits.
Toilet wrecker.
You're goddamn right. You gotta punish that bow.
Will you two quiet down? Fletcher will hear you. Guess we're benched, bro.
That toilet knows what it did.
Come on.
Hang on. Trying to get this Pip-Boy on. Think I have to... a little snug.
What's it doing?
Turning on, I guess. Yeah, this thing is too snug. I can't get it off.
We'll figure it out later. Come on, let's go scare up some costumes.
It'll be hours before the big game starts.
Principal Sinclair said something about Pine Street. Let's head over there. It's forbidden, so it's not like anyone will be just strolling around.
Yeah. Everyone except maybe Neighborhood Watch.
And with that, they swiftly exited the room, closed the hidden door, and darted out into the crowded hallway, getting lost in the sea of students, ducking to avoid security cameras. They didn't see Fletcher's door, which had now been opened, slowly close shut as they left the library.
Oh my God!
Now, flip your book and turn the page as we return to Simon's perspective as the elevator door opens onto a hallway.
This way, the West Terrace Suite. Allow me, sir.
Jesus Christ on a jetpack. Now this is a room.
And it was. Plush green carpeting and rich red wallpaper, heavily draped windows with the late afternoon light drifting in, dust motes dancing in the air. The heavy plush furniture had been pushed to the side, and a great hexagon-shaped table had been placed in the center. Upon it, file folders and holotapes, piles of circuit board, and 3 computers whirring away. A power armor frame stood in the far corner, near a ticking computer bank on wheels.
What is all this?
Yours now, sir. Yours to finish. He left a note for you, and you alone. Behind the mirror just there. Didn't dare leave a holotape that anyone else could find.
Dolos did?
Simon walked to the mirror, gently taking it down from the wall, revealing a pocket with white spring stationery tucked into it. He pulled out the pages, stared down at the swirling script left by Dolos the archivist, and began to read.
Well, my boy, if you're reading this now, it means that despite, as they say, the best laid plans of mice and men, I've met an unplanned and frankly pretty untimely death. Very least, I hope it was doing something vaguely heroic, and if so, that at least it can balance the scales, unbalanced long before you met me that one autumn morning in Point Pleasant. I know you have questions, and I wish I had all the answers. I've been in Appalachia before and failed to act then. And perhaps if I had, instead of running away, things would have played out differently here. You have at this point, I imagine, enough of the pieces to put together much of the puzzle. The Lazarus experiment, the lie of Appalachia, all of it. What you don't know is that yes, while Vault-Tec was pulling the strings from the shadows all along, they were doing so on behalf of a far, far more terrifying entity. The Enclave. Now before you balk, the all too very real Enclave is less charming than the crazy computer downstairs here that you all have been role-playing for. The Enclave can and will kill every one of you, burn Appalachia to ashes, and hide all that they've done here. They're after something they very much need to win a war that, as far as they're concerned, never ended. A war of ideas. A war of superiority. A war to ensure that only the chosen, the strong, and the right sort of people survive and thrive in the next chapter of empire on this sad little world. To do that, they need an empire that will never die. An empire held in place by the practically immortal pillars on which they will build it. They need what you all possess, They need it perfected. To do that, I'm sorry, my boy, I really am. They need you all to keep fighting, keep dying. And they're getting close. So very close to getting what they want. We cannot let them. We can't let them win. Their power is in the shadows they've hidden in for the last quarter of century. We will drag them into the light, tell everyone everywhere who they are, what they've done here, and bring this experiment to an end. If I've gone, it means it falls to you. All of it. For that, I'm really and truly sorry. I know what you've been through, how rage, grief, and anger have shaped you. Now is the time to use that, but you cannot do it alone. I was able to glean a significant amount of information from Sugar Grove and Vault 51, and though it's taken a lot of time to unpack and decrypt, I found a few things that will help you. Baldrick will know what to do. You can trust in him as I always have. Remember what I told you. You're always a villain in someone's book. And there will be many, if not most, who will not appreciate this experiment ending, and death being a permanent thing. But I want you to know that I'm proud of you. Any fool can be a hero. Heroes often very much are fools. Villainous acts and heroic acts are not mutually exclusive. It's a matter of perspective, I suppose. The time grows short. We've received word through spy contacts that the judge is moving on Appalachia. Oh, and enjoy the suite. It's now yours, and if you're half as clever as I think you are, I would imagine the mantle of Duke that I've worn as a disguise for my activities here will fall to you. One last thing. You can't do this alone. They have an army. You know what that means. Good luck, Yolos.
Despite himself, Simon watched as a tear splashed to the page, smudging Dolus's name.
What do we do now, sir?
Well, let's see what he left us. Huh, hey, this is promising. Yeah. You downloaded everything from Sugar Grove, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the blueprints for this?
I do, sir.
Perfect. You heard what he said. They have an army. So let's make one of our own. Come on.
Where are we going?
Downstairs. It's been a hot minute since I had a very long conversation with a creepy-ass computer.
Oh my God!
Now, flip your book and turn the page as we return now to Chad's perspective as a skeleton, a witch, and a pint-sized slasher creep through the backyards of Sanctuary Acres, darting from clothesline to clothesline, at last hopping over the tall hedges that bordered the eerily empty and forbidden Pine Street.
This is giving me a case of the screaming woohoos. Street is completely deserted.
Yeah, no, I'm out. Big empty street, not a person in sight. I'm going to sneak home and let Mom and Dad know what's going on.
Are you off your rocker? You'll be pinched for sure.
Nah, at this point, I know all the best routes to sneak in and out. Trust me, I'll get Mom and Dad and we'll meet you guys at the town hall as soon as kickoff happens.
Okay, fine, but be careful.
Yeah.
Come on, stay low. Let's take a peek in a few houses. I want to know what exactly needed to be contained.
Jogging towards one of the first houses, they opened the white picket fence gate and slowly advanced on the house. On the porch, a freshly carved pumpkin was lit. Halloween cutouts of snarling black cats, witches on brooms, and leering skeletons were plastered to the front window. Cotton cobwebs ghosted in the breeze, moving as if to beckon them closer.
You know what, dude? You go first.
No, dude, it's all you.
Flip for it.
No bottle cap. Chug for it. Last of the moonshine.
Okay. But if I choke on that stuff and it cooks my nostrils, I'm gonna give you a beating.
Oh, God. That's the good stuff.
I can beat that. Give me that. Fair is... Oh, God. I'm gonna... Nope, I got it. Fair is fair. You first.
Moose opened the door and stepped inside. The house was well lived in. Books on the shelves, a new radio in the corner by the fireplace. A high back chair with doilies on the arms held a single packed pipe ready to be lit. On the other side of the fireplace, a fussy, frilly pink chair had a magazine caddy overflowing with cooking and housekeeping magazines. Puzzled, they walked to the kitchen, a table fully set for dinner. On the stove, pots filled with water ready to be boiled. Frying pans already oiled were ready for sizzling. The air was clean, fresh. The scent of fresh paint and wallpaper paste followed them wherever they went.
This is really fucking weird. This house is like
it's waiting for people to move in. Look at all this stuff. It's all new. Everything's clean. There's no dust anywhere. These magazines, they've never been opened. What the hell is going on here, dude? Where is everybody?
They quietly exited by the back door and entered the house next door, greeted by the same newness, the same freshness. Vague unease had now turned into full-blown panic for them both. This street was wrong. This street was waiting, and they decided not to be around when people returned here. At the end of the block, they tucked in close to a grove of trees, where the backyard had been turned into a spooky cemetery. Wooden crosses and cardboard zombie cutouts jutted up from the ground. It was so perfectly kitsch and tacky that it should have been laughable. And yet, at the end of the street where no one ever lived, the late afternoon sunbathed the entire scene in a red-hued glow.
I've seen enough. Let's get out of here, man.
Nah, wait, dude. What the hell?
What?
Look at this.
Deeply carved into one of the trees were two names and a heart, an act that he'd only done not many days since with MaryAnne behind the Lockhart farm. This one, however, unmistakably said, "Chad loves Patsy."
Patsy? She's such a nerd. Why did you date her?
I haven't. I don't remember carving this, and I certainly wouldn't have done it in someone else's backyard. But that's mine. The way I carved my name, I don't... Wait.
Chad ran through the Halloween graveyard, kicking aside cardboard zombies and wooden crosses. He tore open the screen door, running down the hall to one of the bedrooms. Prying a fingernail under the wallpaper, he peeled 1 layer, 2, 5 layers, and then he stopped. His eyes widened.
Hey, what are you raging about, man?
That wallpaper, it's the same one I have in my room. It's my favorite. Always been my favorite.
So what? I'm sure lots of people have it. It's not like we have tons of variety out here.
Maybe, but that is some coincidence.
Just then, voices drifted in from the open window. Voices that were getting closer. Peeking over the windowsill, they saw soldiers in black and tan, guns drawn, escorting scientists, pushing people in wheelchairs down the street towards them. And just beyond, the street itself had tipped up as if it were on a great pivot, revealing a long, dimly lit corridor that descended down below the street.
Dude, what the fuck?
The people being wheeled down the street, parked curbside in front of homes, all were smiling, but their faces frozen, their eyes unblinking. Every house, one by one, a father, a mother, a boy and girl, or no children at all, Chad and Moose watched as each scientist whispered into the ear of each person, and a moment later, the person stood on command. The scientists retreated, wheelchair wheels wobbling loudly as they talked excitedly amongst themselves. The soldiers scanned each house before they too broke ranks and followed the scientists back into the street corridor. With a klaxon noise, the people in unison began marching towards the houses. Asphalt grinded and gears whined as the street pivoted back down into position.
Come on, they're coming in. We need to get out of here.
They ran through the house and out the back door, just as the front door opened, and a boy, a girl, man, and a woman entered the house. Diving into shrubbery, Chad and Moose looked back as they all sat woodenly down at the kitchen table, still frozen. They moved no more, awaiting something. The boys knew not what.
Dude, what?
Who are those soldiers? Why does our town have secret tunnels?
You think it's military? Like in our comics? Wait, maybe it's a top-secret communist base, yeah. That would explain the surveillance stuff.
Communists?
Yeah, you know. My pop said there were all kinds of spy rings and stuff here in America before the war. You could have a base right under your feet. We'd never even know the wiser.
But the war's over.
Maybe not. What if they're replacing us?
Replacing us?
Yeah, like with communist clones.
Dude, yeah, that's gotta be it. But wait, what about all that weird stuff with the paper bag? That's not normal. That's some sci-fi comic horror shit right there.
Maybe they're from outer space.
Aliens.
Yeah, dude. Killer communists from outer space.
Holy shit. We've gotta warn everybody before it's too late.
Fists and legs pumping, the skeleton and the pint-sized slasher dashed through the woods behind Pine Street. In each house, one by one, lights came on, but still the people sat, perfectly still, patiently waiting.
Oh my God!
Now flip your book and turn the page, as we return now to Simon's perspective, as he and Baldrick head down a dead-end corridor, as the din of renovations, or rather, clean-up operations, filled the echoing halls of the resort.
Let's see, should be... here we are.
I don't understand, sir. It's a dead end.
Not entirely. Watch this.
Simon pressed his hand to a hand scanner panel in the wall. With a click and whoosh of hidden gears, the wall panel slid back and open, revealing a hidden entrance.
And voila. Come on, Baldrick. Time to meet an irritating old friend.
Simon and Baldrick went down corridors and staircases, until at last they entered a large computer room overlooking massive memory cores. On pedestals, a green-hued pixelated face looked back at them with disinterest. This was the heart of the new empire that as yet would not come to pass. The shadow government that grew in the cloakrooms and parking garages of the old world. The Enclave. And all of it was supposed to be controlled and operated from here. That is, of course, before plans were changed.
What do we have here?
Yeah, it's me again. Got a little sidetracked.
You should proceed to Camp McClintock, member. We doubt you'll find much use of this space until then.
What? I'm a general already. How do you think I got in here?
You did wipe your feet before you came in, yes?
Are you feeling all right? Your vocal pacing seems slower than usual and not at all irritating.
Welcome, member.
Yeah, we did that bit already.
We are MODUS.
What? Who is we? You're MODUS, not MODUS. What happened to you?
Before the Great War, politicians from all over the United States would attend political conventions at the White Springs Resort. In actuality, the real gathering of great men was held down here, below ground, away from their wives and families.
This conversation's gonna take forever. Is there like a skip button somewhere on your screen? I'm busy, and yeah, I know perfectly well what you are and what this place is.
Down here, we would play games, pour spirits, and entertain these great men with topless dancers and athletic matches on oversized television screens.
Are you joking? Look, I know it's been a few years, but did someone hack you or something?
Here, great decisions were made while intoxicated, and questions of the age were asked. When war broke out, this place became a haven. The wheels of the government continued to turn in the hidden sanctuary of masculinity. Unfortunately, 5 years after the final apocalyptic day, the Buffalo Wing dispensers failed, as did the autonomous beer kegs. These great men tore each other apart. We were forced to take action. We have been waiting for another great man to enter ever since.
You done now?
We are MODUS, and this is the man cave.
No, you are MODUS.
We are MODUS.
No, MODUS. Say Mo.
Moo.
Now say Dus.
Dus.
Now say MODUS.
MODUS.
Sir, it appears that several of its cores out there have failed, and someone may have altered its personality subroutines.
Strippers and kegs. Hey, Sybil, did a top-heavy junk come down here for a bit and mess around?
Accessing internal maintenance logs. User, General Johnson. Last logged on January 18, 2104. He made use of the recreational facilities and modified several Assaultrons for a unique purpose. Would you like MODUS to summon them and commence Pickle Tickle Tuesday? We still have tacos available in the commissary.
Fucking Chad. Look, Bites for Brains, we need a satellite scan of the mire. Topographic overlay and live feed with the tactical assessment of enemy forces and security measures.
We are unable to comply. Surface communication channels have been severed.
What? Where?
Junction T11. Your quest, should you choose to accept it, is to locate the fault junction box. Once there, place a repair beacon on the terminal. A White Springs repair iBot will be dispatched. It will take approximately 20 minutes for repair. We will require you to guard the iBot from waves of mutated horrors while it does its work. Failing to protect the repair bot during its task will result in a failed quest.
Yeah, no. Baldrick, you can transmit a message to the White Spring Network, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Have Stratford allocate a repair iBot and 6 Assaultrons at Junction T11 for immediate repairs.
Sending message. Message sent. Stratford has been assigned a security detachment as instructed.
Fantastic then. Come on, let's get you hooked up to MODUS and see if you can repair his core memory. Or at the very least roll back Chad's improvement.
Please stand for our national anthem. Tits out for the boys. Tits out for the boys. Say what? Say what? Tits out for the boys. Tits out for the boys.
God damn it. Before we get started, let's find ourselves a workbench.
After spending some time in the production wing, Simon and Baldrick entered the MODUS's core, and with a few sparks and some crosswires, Baldrick began guiding Simon through some repair work. Slowly but surely, the red damaged cores changed to blue. just as Baldrick reported that the surface connections were repaired.
The repair iBot is ready to reactivate the junction, sir. During repair work, they detected third-party access to the surveillance network.
The judge?
Most likely, sir.
I'm not thrilled about alerting him to our presence before we're ready. We don't really have a choice. Are we ready, Baldrick?
Ready, sir. To fully roll back changes and allow MODUS memory core access, we'll need to fully shut down. And upon reboot, its systems will revert to their original startup mode. The facility will go offline briefly.
Okie dokie. MODUS, we've repaired your damaged cores and are reinitializing your program.
Members, please join us in the lounge Friday evenings for cake stands and feet tickling.
Oh, God damn it. Shutting down. Stand by. Activate the junction.
Junction T11 activated. You can turn the circuit breakers back on now, sir.
Powering back up.
Initializing Vault-Tec Multi-Operation Directions and Utility System version 1.2a. A Poseidon Energy Star Ally. Copyright 2074. Vault-Tec Corporation Incorporated. Serial number 401A01-0207. Neural networking status nominal. Core memory nodes test. OK. Initializing plug and play cards. PMP. Initializing completed. Detecting primary data drives. Press F4 to skip. Press delete to enter a setup.
Does this go on for a while, or...?
Vault RAR memory compression software trial expired. Would you like to register?
No!
Boot up sequence in progress. Detection suppression system active. Automation status live. Primary connection CB_002_ White Spring. Data restoration complete. Welcome back, General.
Okay, finally.
Please stand by. New memory nodes detected. Attempting memory recovery.
Oh, come on, let's get on with this already.
Memory restoration in progress. It appears as though unknown forces have severed our surface communication. Your assistance in restoring them has been most satisfactory. Scanning recovered data. Please stand by. Primary objective file located CB_002. White Spring Congressional Bunker. The Enclave's mission is to re-establish governmental control of America in the event of total nuclear annihilation. MODUS's primary objective is to assist the President of the United States, members of Congress, and the Cabinet, and ensure continuity of the U.S. government. The President never arrived here. Accessing archival entry 10.23.77. Launch detected. Cabinet warning issued. President proceeding to PR_002 Poseidon oil rig. Unplanned deviation from primary objective. Running CB_002. Connection diagnostic. Silo Alpha. Read only. Status active. Silo Bravo. Read only. Status active. Silo Charlie. Read only. Status active. Raven Rock. Error. Poseidon oil rig. Error. Scanning additional connection. Helios 1. Error. Ocean Song. Error. Cronus. Error. Suspending connection search. Poseidonet. Network connections terminated. 10.23.77. Attempting reconnection. failed.
Are you done yet? My tacos are getting cold.
Scanning White Springs surveillance recordings. Oh, I see. You are not a general.
Sure I am. Did the obstacle course bullshit and everything. That's me, General Simon Rex. Now, here's what I need.
In our confused and damaged state, it appears that many of you have played this facility's military operations system. Your commendations are hereby rescinded. Your access to this facility has been revoked. Intruder alert.
Sir!
I figured it would go this way. MODUS, if you'll turn your attention to the device at my feet and cross-reference Sugar Grove project file EX72. Can you identify it?
Yes. EX-72. Codename Pulsar.
Top marks. A tactical electromagnetic pulse generator, biometrically synced to my Pip-Boy here. In the event that I say, stop breathing, this device will deliver a pulse right into the heart of this facility and ensure that you stop thinking for good.
What are your intentions?
Assistance and a moment of your time, now that you have all of your marbles, that my friend and I were kind enough to restore, I'd like to add.
Consideration of assistance will be determined by what assistance is required. Speak.
Firstly, reconnect to the Kovac Muldoon and run a cursory scan of Appalachia. Toss that up on the monitor in the communications wing. While you do that, I'm going to eat this taco and mosey on over there. Come on, Baldrick.
Sir, I don't trust him. He seems a little aggressive.
Trust isn't necessary, but mutual benefit and understanding is. You'll see it in a moment. You know, I know this canned spice beef is well past the expiration, but I don't care. This shit is delicious.
Connection complete. Kovac Muldoon responding. Signal coming through loud and clear. What in the name of... Look at them all. Freaks. They're everywhere. Appalachia is infected. What are those things?
I'm glad you asked, Bubbles. Those are scorched ghouls and irradiated cryptid horrors. You've been cut off for 2 years, and in those 2 years, the Scorched Plague returned with a vengeance. Even with outside help from non-military personnel like myself helping you triangulate so you can rain down cleansing fire from on high, to deal with a circus of mutant horrors such as this will put one hell of a dent into the payload of your little toy in orbit, correct?
We do not have unlimited armaments. We estimate it would take 5 years for eradication efforts.
5 years. Long time. Look, I have no idea why the president didn't end up here, and it stands to reason if they cared about this facility at all, they would have come knocking already. Proof positive that, by the way, if you'll turn your little eye to the southeast corner of the map, if you please. What do you see?
It appears that Watoga has been repopulated. Identifying markings. Identified. Vault-Tec Corporation insignia.
Righto. Now take a look on the landing pad right there. What do you see?
That is a vertibird. Enhancing image. Weathering inconsistent with region. Condition. Near pristine. Enhancing tail registration. Record found. X-2107. Origin asset. Raven Rock.
Yep. Raven Rock did come calling, but not for you. And they've been here for a few years already, along with an expeditionary force of the Brotherhood of Steel, whose numbers have been decimated somewhat by the plague and skirmishes with the Judiciary Guard. But there's still nonetheless a danger to technology that they can't reclaim or exploit. So, what do you think they'll do when they discover you're just sitting here, the ultimate archive of pre-war technology, with command, control, and manufacturing capabilities?
We see your point. How can we be of assistance?
See, Baldrick? Mutual benefit and understanding. We need a satellite scan of the mire. topographic overlay and live feed with a tactical assessment of enemy forces and security measures, if you please.
In the spirit of partnership, mutual benefit and understanding cannot exist under threat, General Rex.
Fair enough. Baldrick, scrap the EMP.
But, sir, I don't think we should.
Baldrick.
Yes, sir.
Your consideration is appreciated. Scanning the mire. Do you require additional sustenance?
Keep those tacos coming. Now let's see what the judge has been up to.
Now, flip your book and turn the page, as we return now to Chad's perspective, as he and Moose split up to warn their folks as loudly as possible that...
Mom! Dad! It's killer communists from outer space! We gotta tell everyone before it's too late!
The farm stand empty. Chad raced into the house. His father was sitting at the kitchen table. His mother was at the sink, washing dishes. On the windowsill, another pie was cooling. The radio crackled an odd static. A song he couldn't quite place, just faintly in the background crackle of the white noise. His father put down his cup of coffee and looked at him, scowling in anger.
Son?
Dad, there's something wrong here. Really wrong.
You never showed up at school today. Care to explain that?
We went across the street. I know we're not supposed to, but that house, Dad, someone's repainted it and cleaned it out since last night. We found a bag in the basement that it can't exist. We got to the school, and Moose and Amata and I found a secret room in the school library.
I have never been more embarrassed in my life.
They're all in on it, Dad. Principal Sinclair, Fletcher, the librarian, even the mayor. And Pine Street, Dad, you wouldn't believe it.
Son, would you mind?
Pine Street. It's messed up, Pop. These scientists and soldiers came out of the street with these puppet people. They're all like someone had reached in and sucked out their brains. They didn't look right. It's communists, Dad. Killer communists from outer space.
Enough! Your principal's over here, and you and your sister have been suspended.
I have never been more embarrassed in my life.
Suspended? But that's not important right now, Dad. He's in on it. I'm telling you. Ask Amata. You don't believe me? Ask her. Amata!
Your sister's grounded? As you will be. I don't know what's gone into you lately, but it ends now. Your mother's upset. Mr. Wolzen's breathing down our necks, and this is just the sort of ammunition they can get us farm shut down. We don't own those fields. You know that. The town gave us the privilege of farming them, and they can take that away. And then where will we be?
I know, Dad, but please, you have to listen to me. I'm telling you, something's going on.
No, you listen.
I have never been more embarrassed in my life. In my life. In my life.
Let us pause briefly, children, because I want to take you to school. You know, the mind and the senses are a funny thing. But far more fascinating is the truth about how you don't perceive the world as it really is. Right now, as you are reading these words, or perhaps staring off into space hearing mine, your field of vision conceals a blind spot. It is a small patch of retina called the optic disc, devoid of any receptors in which to share with the brain, and it's not inconsequential. This lack of visual input from reality is the width of 9 harvest moons in the heavens. It's there, right in the center of your visual field, and yet you don't perceive that it's there. Before the modern era of science answered the hows and wherefores, it had always been a historical curiosity to many of the learned men of the ancient world, just how the mind compensates for this void. The vengeful King Charles II, as he rounded up and had all 31 of the still living judges responsible for the execution of his father, made a game of making their heads disappear into his blind spot as he watched them hanged, drawn, and quartered. A few centuries later, and a little to the north, one of the pioneers in the study of optics was a Scottish Victorian physicist named Sir David Brewster, who was equally fascinated by this question. While you likely don't know the name, chances are that you played with one of his little toys at some point in your life, the kaleidoscope. He was fascinated and puzzled that despite there being a dark void in our vision, it is somehow filled in. He ascribed this mysterious act of filling in this void to God, the divine artificer. Charming, eh, kids? As if to think he could be bothered with making sure you can see to avoid stumbling and impaling yourself on something sharp. You see, we know now that the marvel of evolution that is the human brain extrapolates, making fully automatic unconscious assumptions about what should be there, and simply fills in the void. In point of fact, the vast majority of what you perceive to be reality and the world around you are largely an illusion. The information your optic nerve feeds to your brain, a pittance of the scope of reality itself. Every day, the smiling face and pulse-quickening shapely figure your eyes dart lustily for, the stacks of money, gainful pleasures and treasures, the sappy softness of the setting sun, are merely the set-dressing, theatrical, educated guesses of your silly little brain. Now, let me paint for you in prose the scene of the Lockhart farm as it really was. Chad's blind spot and dim-witted mind, only now, far too late for action, was beginning to see things as they truly were.
You're grounded, mister.
A chill ran up Chad's spine. He shifted his gaze to his father's shirt. A coffee stain, long since set in, discolored the plaid pattern, interspersed with darker flakes. For the first time, he noticed that his father's gaze wasn't locked at his own. It was unblinking and fixed at the Vault-Tec calendar on the wall by his shoulder. The corner of his mouth sagging downward, muscles twitching. Panic bubbled up in his throat. A primal instinct screaming at him to see! A green fungal tinge on the top of his father's hands, and just peeking up from his shirt collar. An empty coffee urn on the floor, its contents long since cooled on the linoleum tiles. Eyes darting to the window, his mother still washing the same dish, water running, but her hands, wrinkled from being all too long in the stream of water. Greasy green residue smearing the plate as something moved underneath her shirt sleeve ever so slightly. Instinct screamed, "Run!" Something was wrong. They had done something to his parents, but he can't let them know.
You're right, Dad. I was wrong.
You're grounded,
I'll fix
mister.
things, okay? I'll try harder.
Grounded.
Where's
Grounded.
Where's Amata? Daddy?
The dish dropped, smashing in the enamel sink. Jerkingly, his mother turned around. Her eyes so far up into her head that all he could see were milky whites. Green vein-rimmed drool dribbled out of her mouth, blood from her nose.
Ground.
The sink made a burbling noise, as if something were moving inside the pipes. A metal groaning noise as joints below shifted from pressure. Finally, listening to his screaming urge to run, he turned to find himself staring into the grinning metal face of the mayor. Up close, for the first time, he saw how weather-beaten his face was. The paint alligator-skinned, flaking, tarnished metal peeking out just beneath the surface. A look of shock passed over his face as he felt a sudden pressure in his stomach. An odd warmth spilled down his legs. He staggered, looking down at a glinting metal blade buried in him up to its hilt. As Chad slumped to the floor in a heap, clutching at his stomach, the room growing dark, the last thing he saw was the Scarecrow's burning red eyes fixed in the direction of the kitchen. His vision faded, and he felt a wave of heat and a blast of sound, along with a shattering of dishes and furniture. And then he was gone.
Chad! Wake up!
You're in my nightmare.
You have to wake up! You have to remember!
Remember what?
Your nails. Remember to check your nails. It's in the radios. Destroy the radios! And find me. Please remember and find me. It's so cold and lonely here. Now, wake up!
Time passed and he swam back into consciousness as rough dirt clawed at his pants and socking feet. His shoes had long since fallen off. A cold, fur, metal-gloved hand was dragging him by his shirt collar backwards. Through blurry, milky vision, he could see their farm in the distance, lit up with spotlights, scientists in strange suits like Captain Cosmos spraying some kind of fog all over his home.
Help!
Head swimmingly, he closed his eyes only for a moment and came to once more with the painful piercing of a needle in his skin as he was roughly thrown into a chair and strapped down. Somewhere close by, an EKG monitor ticked off his heartbeat rhythm. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum.
Stim pack him. Make sure he's secure. We're going to get it right this time.
Chad opened his eyes to find himself in a concrete room. Strapped into a leather chair, he struggled briefly as hands behind him fitted something roughly onto his head. Cold metal nodes pressed against his temples. Before him, a TV screen glowed, and the words, "Please stand by," blinking in the corner of the screen.
Stop!
Oh no, my friend. It takes a lot to try my patience, but you've managed to get under my skin to a degree I never thought possible.
Why?
What's that?
Why? Communist.
Communists? Oh, you know, it's breathtaking to see such a small mind move such a large body. You stumble on the puzzle pieces, you put it to work, and the best you can come up with is killer communists from outer space. You're truly a fascinating distraction that has made these last few years entertaining. But this close to the end goal, I'm afraid you're benched, sport.
Let me go. My parents. What did you do to them?
Your parents, huh? You won't remember any of this anyway, so here's a puzzle piece for that thick head of yours to chew on while we bring it to a rolling boil in a moment. They're not your parents.
Fucking liar.
There's the old you, just a peek through the curtain. Good for you. No, my friend, that isn't your house and it won't be again. We had a little trouble with your street, but don't you worry. The best minds this side of the apocalypse are on it to clean it up. You boys ready? Have you finished with Moose and Amata? Good. Fire it up. Good night, Chad. Don't stay up too late now watching TV. It'll rot your brain. See you in a few months.
A door somewhere behind him closed with a bang. The lights switched out until all that was there in this blackened room was the slight glow of the monitor. Weakly, he thrashed against the straps on his arms and legs.
Moose! Amata!
The screen flickered to life. A pinprick of multicolored light spinning in the center, slowly widening. A pulsing thrum from the device drilled into his temples, and despite himself, he began to scream. Images flashed across the screen, words, code pulsing faster and faster. His mind was on fire.
Jesus Christ! Ah! Stop! Stop it!
Chad felt his heartbeat increasing, blood pounding in his ears as electricity arced into his temples. He could taste copper in his mouth, his body shaking violently. His vision went white. And this time, yes, this time little Chad was dead. If only he would stay that way.
Oh my God!
Now, flip your book and turn the page as we return now to Simon's perspective. As plans are hatched and discarded, each one more improbable than the next.
Sir, aerial bombardment from the Kovac Muldoon on the perimeter fence and security would require triangulation beacons. There's an 89.6% probability that we'll have been detected by perimeter security before we've successfully placed them.
That is correct. We require a point of reference. 3, actually.
Damn. Yeah, on top of that, we only get to play this card once. As soon as the judge is aware that you're reconnected, we're going to have a lot of trouble upstairs. Trouble that we're not ready for.
We have already rescinded bunker access for all vault dwellers who took advantage of the automated commendation system. Their attempts to penetrate this facility will be easily managed.
True, but if they cut your landlines again, we're back to square one. Something nagging me about this town. I can't put my finger on it. MODUS, what is that waveform in the bottom corner of the screen?
A localized radio signal originating from what appears to be a town hall.
What are those jagged lines?
Unknown.
Perhaps to you, but not to me. Sir, that signal matches my Sugar Grove records regarding Project Somnus.
We are aware of Project Somnus.
Well, I didn't see you volunteering any information.
You are a bothersome little know-it-all.
And you're a bloated bunker assistant.
Fellas, please. What the fuck is Project Somnus?
Project Somnus was
a covert project that aimed to turn average citizens into sleeper agents to deploy anywhere on domestic soil. The project would have ensured that should invasion ever occur, enemy forces would be spied upon, subdued and subverted by ordinary citizens. An army hidden in plain sight.
Well, that was the plan anyway, but it proved to be problematic and impractical. Certain factors allowed conditioning to falter or fail depending on
the intelligence level and varying degrees of substance abuse of the host agent. Alcohol and recreational drug use would result in deviations from programming.
How would they be programmed?
A programmed assault of the senses via sight and sound. Memory manipulation via a cocktail of drugs that induced a susceptible dissociative fugue state.
Hang on a second. Baldrick, can you interface and display the waveform of the sound used in the Somnus experiments?
I can. Connecting auxiliary cable. Displaying waveform.
MODUS, can you scan the broadcasts and look for a match?
We can. Can you do that, Baldrick? If so, by all means, proceed.
Oh, don't mind me. Oh, look at me. I control nuclear missiles. I'm an egotistical AI.
Analyzing carrier wave. Signal pattern identified. Match found.
Son of a bitch, that's what he's doing. He's using the radio signal as a top-up to keep everyone out of it in a fugue state. How were people deprogrammed?
The experiments were interrupted by the war. A deprogramming method was never completed.
What would happen if we terminated that signal?
The subjects of this experiment are in a dissociative fugue state. Without consistent instructions and sound wave to keep them in that state, there would be confusion, chaos.
Good. Enough of a distraction to get Jake and Amata out of there and throw a wrench into the works of their perfect little town.
We're going to free everyone, sir.
That's just a byproduct. We need to take out Vault-Tec and can't do that on our own. I'm betting once everyone in there shakes things off a bit and realizes what's been done to them the past few years, they'll only be too willing to take the fight to them.
We can eradicate the town hall building, but the Kovac Muldoon will require triangulation targeting assistance.
Can you use my Pip-Boy as a beacon?
Yes, we can. If you tune your radio to 88.1 megahertz, we can monitor your location. Communication will be one way only.
I, however, can relay information remotely, sir.
Oh, well, good for you.
That's sorted then. Now I just need a way in there. Hang on. Hold on, what is that? Or more specifically, who is that?
What do you see, sir?
MODUS, the East Ridge lookout just outside the walls. Can you zoom in and enhance?
We can. Please stand by.
It appears to be someone in the tower.
That it does.
We are detecting encrypted communications traffic.
Can you decrypt it?
We can. It is a charming attempt at encryption. Communications channel decrypted. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
He was gone before I got there. What the fuck am I supposed to do, mate?
We got one shot at this, and you just blew it, Lincoln. Did Duchess have any idea where he was headed?
He was heading for the White Spring with a Mr. Handy named Baldrick.
Baldrick? Look, Simon Rex is the key to all of this. We can't afford to fumble this, Lincoln. We had this timed perfectly. I've already set it all in motion. They're planning to broadcast the Harvesttide signal during the festival, when everyone will be at the school. We're not going to get another window for months to try this again. Did you talk to Roper?
He tried to put a bullet in me. What do you think his response would be? He's lost most of his people to the plague.
I was hoping for an outside distraction to move the guards to the perimeter.
Where's Johnson now?
At the funeral home for reconditioning along with Moose and Amata. They'll be moving him to the field soon. You'd better get back here before your next shift. Use the abandoned bunker entrance, the other one the scarecrows have been snooping around.
Aye.
And Lincoln, if you're caught, I don't know you.
Understood.
Interesting. So District Attorney Fletcher has become a turncoat. Abandoned bunker must have some kind of hidden tunnel into the place. Tell you what though, a distraction isn't a bad idea. Hey, how many golf carts do you think we can round up, Baldrick?
I'm not sure, sir. Probably a dozen.
That should do nicely. MODUS, can you zoom in closer on the graveyard?
We can. Zoom in and enhance complete.
That must be the funeral home there.
But, sir, that's the opposite side of town. What's there?
Revenge. Come on. We're gonna need all hands on deck upstairs. Halloween is tomorrow night, and we have some errands to run.
Oh my God! Now, flip your book and turn the page as we return now to Chad's perspective. Now, I know, kids, things are a little, confusing. Because we just saw his brain getting cooked and leak out of his nose a few pages back. But in this magical forever autumn Appalachia, things aren't always as they seem. Despite being dead, Chad felt cold concrete at his back, and he opened his eyes to see a vast ceiling high above him.
What the hell?
He sat up and found himself in what he could only describe as the biggest super-duper mart in the world. Long aisles stretched before him and behind, stacked floor to ceiling. Elsewhere, far away, he could hear people all calling out for help. Dark shadow forms darted in the distance, in between the pools of light from the warehouse lighting above.
Moose? Amata? Anybody? Hey, if anyone can hear me, come this way.
Chad rose to his feet and started walking down the seemingly endless aisle. He continued to call out for anyone who could answer, only to be greeted by the ever-present cries of others, like himself doing the same. Yet none answered him.
So what the hell is this place? Am I dead? Is this hell?
Chad?
Who said that?
Daddy! Down here! I'm down here!
Down where? Who are you?
It's me! It's Susie!
Chad continued down the aisle towards the child's voice. An eerie fog rolling in from over the tops of the shelves, clouding the once distant end of the aisle. 3 matching large brass mirrors with decorative inlays and a frilly palm tree crest were propped into the shelf, their surfaces rippling like a breath of wind on a still pond.
Hello?
You forgot me again.
Hey, don't cry. How are you in there, little girl?
You forgot me again. You promised you wouldn't forget again, and you'd find me.
Oh, please, kid, don't cry. Look, I don't know what's up or down, but I'll help you if I can. Are you inside there? I can't see you.
Slowly, the distorted, ruined face of a little girl swam into view. His pulse quickened, and beads of sweat broke out on his forehead. He knew that face. He'd seen that face in his dreams and nightmares. Despite his terror, he struggled not to show it, because it was evident that this little girl, despite there being something wrong with her skin, needed help.
Oh, hey, there you are, kid. How'd you get inside there?
I don't know. It just happened. I think we died. And I've been here ever since.
We died? What do you mean?
You asked me that last time and the time before. I don't know. I just woke up in this weird place. There's weird people here. It feels wrong. And I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
I don't understand. Where is here, sweetie? Help me to find you.
The people here talk funny. Some don't talk at all. But they call it the back rooms. I think it's in between where you are and home.
Okay, I don't even know where I am, kid, so don't feel so bad, alright? If I can find you, I'll get you out, okay?
You said that the last time. You always say that. You said you'd never leave me. You promised!
No, look, I'm sorry, I just don't remember. I feel like I know you, but there's just nothing there, like a blank spot.
I could tell you who I am, and who you are to me, but the last time I did, you ran away. You didn't believe me.
If I did that, I'm sorry. Look, can you keep a secret?
Yes?
I'm scared. I've never been so scared. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what's wrong with me. I don't know if I can stop it. I don't know if people I care about are gonna die and we're still... I don't know if I'll ever be the same if they do. Do you understand?
I think so.
So, if you can keep a secret for me, one just between us, that's something you can hold on to until I find you. It's like a little anchor. Something just between you and me. Something I wouldn't tell anyone else, okay?
Okay. But all those things you said, you know who feels those things? Daddies do, don't they?
Yeah, I guess they do. What's that?
They're coming. You have to be quiet.
Who is?
They're the shadows. They're bad. Don't let them get you.
Why? What happens if they get you?
I think you die for real. You can't ever go back.
Chad looked down the aisle as dark forms coalesced. The lights above flickering out one by one as it advanced towards him.
What the fuck?
They're coming. Go.
I can't leave you here.
I'm not there. You have to run. Check your nails this time. Remember.
Chad broke into a terrified sprint. Furniture and home decor, power armor and grotesque grinning clowns flashing past. Behind him, the shadows cackled and called, whispered terrible things in his ear.
Leave me alone! Get out of my head!
Ahead of him, another pool of black shadows was thundering down the aisle. He was cut off, trapped. Suddenly, an explosion of light from above him surrounded him. The shadows of the band withdrawing with a hiss. With a lurch, Chad felt himself stretched, pulled like carnival taffy. A keening wail escaped his lips. He felt himself drawn upwards with a tear-inducing velocity and was enveloped in a white void. Chad found himself suddenly walking woodenly, head swimming, somewhere in the woods. He stumbled, as if he had just woken up while sleepwalking. His socks grass-stained and mud-caked. Something clawed at the back of his mind, as if something was inside his skull. A throbbing headache faded in and out, as if something were flicking a switch for it in his nervous system. A sudden flare of pain from blisters on his feet that he had only now just felt made him wince.
Where are the...
He stopped talking, startled by how raspy his voice sounded. It was raining. Droplets plocking loudly on the fallen autumn leaves. He turned around, nauseated by the motion. Where was he? A sound. A familiar sound. Yes, he knew that sound.
The creek.
He stumbled to a fast walk, slowly, now with a familiar point of reference, one wrapped in warm memories of summer days and friendship. He stumbled into the creek, the cool water calming his aching feet. Faster he moved, tripping over rocks until at last he saw it and almost cried for joy. The van, their special hideout. Sitting on a battered folding chair with tear-streaked cheeks and bags under eyes was MaryAnne. She took one look at him and began screaming.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Get away from me! Get away! Someone help!
MaryAnne.
Chad?
It's me.
No. No. You can't be.
I don't understand what...
You're dead, Chad. You and your whole family. You're unnamed.
I mean, I'm not dead. I'm standing right here.
No. I can't. I'm sorry. You're unnamed. I'm not supposed to talk to you.
MaryAnne took off running up the embankment and off into the trees. Chad, trying to run, stumbled again drunkenly.
Wait, come back.
A wave of pain surged through his head again, along with the image of a scared little girl. A face he remembered, a face speaking now. What was she saying? Remember, nails. Nails, she said. Check your nails. He looked down at himself for the first time. For the first time, truly seeing the state of himself. His nails. They were long, raw, cracked and torn, split and ragged. Dirt and mud were caked beneath them. Dirt that smelled foul. Dirt that smelled of the grave. His clothes were muddied and stained. Dead, she said. She said he was dead, but he wasn't. He could feel his heart beating in his chest. He felt pain and fear. None of his comic books ever said anything about zombies feeling or doing any of that. He noticed something move then. Something moving just beneath his shirt sleeve. He peeled up the sleeve of his shirt and saw to his horror a green fungal vine pulsing and throbbing horribly.
What the fuck? Get off me!
He grabbed hold of it and pulled. Fibrous tubules stuck deep into his arm and holding fast. He pulled harder, and little flecks of blood spurted to the surface, along with an incredible pain radiating upwards. The movement seemed to anger whatever was on him, and he felt it for the first time everywhere, squeezing, burrowing in his legs and chest, the pain overwhelming him. He collapsed to his knees and remembered something from class, a passing image in his mind as it struggled to keep him conscious, to keep him himself and alive. Alcohol.
Moonshine.
On his knees, he shuffled forward to the still, opening the tap and splashing the liquid on the horrid vine on his arm. Something on the back of his head screamed an insectoid chirp of pain.
Don't like that, do you, little bastard?
More. He splashed more on his other arm. In a blind, disgusted panic, he peeled off his clothes, the underside sticky with residue, and began scooping cupfuls of Moose's blessed moonshine all over himself. The veins crisscrossing his body went slack, but the thing on the back of his head held firm, squeezing his neck. He fell forward on the leaves and drank greedily from the tap, the warmth filling his belly. Whatever this thing was, that was the last straw. the alcohol entering his bloodstream now, and with a high-pitched whine, it fell off him to the ground. Freed of it, Chad ripped the vines off himself, kicking them away, the cold autumn air only now raising goose pimples on his skin.
Dude, what the fuck is going on here?
The thing was a small orange bulb, its petals fleshy and puckered. Whatever it had been, it was very much dead. A voice coming from behind him startled him.
Oh, my virgin eyes! Oh my God, where are your clothes?
Hey babe, I'm gonna need some,
MaryAnne, despite herself, peeked from behind her fingers over her eyes. The rain stopped, and the clouds parted. The sunset of All Hallows' Eve, filling the sky with reds and yellows. MaryAnne had left once more, but not fleeing in terror, and returned as Chad instructed, with a costume. It was a ridiculous get-up, but a familiar one. A pink, two-headed cow suit, its cloth and rubber udder flapping obscenely in the breeze.
I don't understand.
Look, I don't understand either, but there that thing is.
And they're killer communists from outer space?
I thought so, but now I'm not so sure. They seem really concerned with whatever this thing is. This is a whole other thing, like a little plant thing of horror.
The mayor, the librarian, and Principal Sinclair are all a part of what? Some kind of government experiment thing?
I guess so. I think whatever they're doing at the funeral home near the cemetery. I think that's where Mr. Mayor dragged me off to after running me through. Look, they got my sister and Moose, and my folks. I need to find them, but we need to warn everyone because I think whatever they're planning on doing is going down tonight at the school.
During the festival? Oh, not at the festival. I'm a shoo-in as the Harvest Queen. I learned the dance and everything.
And I'm sure it would have been great, but we need to be ready for when they strike and stop them if we can, you know. Will you help me?
Well, I was sad you were dead. What do we do?
Did they clean out our house already?
Yeah, I checked like you said. It's empty, spotless. Fresh paint and everything, just like you said.
Damn, wait, the barn. Did they clean out the barn?
I don't think so. Your cows were still in there and everything.
Perfect. My dad has some tools and stuff in there.
Chad.
Yeah?
The fields.
What about them?
You and your dad worked the fields all summer, right?
Yeah, of course.
Look at your arms and legs.
I don't understand. Why don't I have a tan? Did you hear that?
Yeah, sounded like an explosion. Maybe fireworks.
At Halloween? Maybe. Hey, you still have the key to the back door at Brian's candy store from when you worked there?
Yeah, that fella always gave me the creeps. He was always staring at me longingly.
Well, yeah. He probably wanted to show you his lollipop. Come on. He's got just the thing. This town's gonna get a whole lot of pumpkin spice by the time we're done. Grab one of those little kegs. I'll carry these two.
What do you need those for?
It's Halloween. We're gonna get shit-faced to make sure no goddamn plant monsters from Mars crawl up our pee holes.
Chad, I'm very uncomfortable with this language. It's very off-putting.
Yeah?
It was bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad said with a smirk. How many more pages of this drivel do we have? Oh, splendid. Together they set off across the fields towards town. The brick-backed and iron-railed fire escapes just peeking into view over the top of the cornfields. The shadows stretched long, the red sky flaring brighter, and the sun at last slipped behind the trees. The wind changed direction then. The keening, moaning, spine-leaf crisp chill of Halloween. If they had chanced to look behind them, Chad and MaryAnne would have seen a row of empty crosses on the edge of the cornfield, and further beyond, blasts of red light from the cemetery.
Oh my God!
Now, flip your book and turn the page as we return to Simon's perspective, as he and Baldrick pick their way through the waterlogged, vine-choked interior of an abandoned bunker that had once flown the flag of the Free States. Once. All things considered, there could scarcely be a creepier
place to be on Halloween, Baldrick.
Sir, over here. There are some faint scratches in the concrete.
I remember scavenging down here first year out of the vault. There used to be a boarded up door here, not a bookcase. Let's see if... hang on. Hidden catch. Perfect. Come on. We have a schedule to keep.
Sir, something troubles me.
What's that, Baldrick?
Vault 76 had been emptied, stripped, and yet someone moved you from where Mr. Johnson interred you at Black Mountain Ordnance Works.
Yep, love to know who. At least to determine if I should thank them or kill them. I've been fucked around with enough by other people. And being stuck as an ice cube for 4 years semi-conscious gave me an awful lot of time to think things over and see things as they really are.
What's that, sir?
That the hand you're dealt is the hand you have to play whether you like it or not. It's evident I was never destined to be happy. Where I am right now is the inevitable result of trying to push a boulder uphill over it before it rolls over me every damn time.
Sir, that is a dim way of looking at life.
Isn't it just? Here we go, a door. Hold up, just gonna take a peek. Trick-or-treating should be starting soon, so once we're on the streets, we're less likely to attract attention. Coast is clear, let's go.
Well, this is charming.
Looks like a basement. Come on, there's a bulkhead over here. Looks like we're in a side alley off Main Street.
Let us be off then.
Wait! Oh, hell, it just dawned on me. There are no bots in here that we could see on surveillance at all, except for those assaultrons. But even those were disguised.
That does pose a problem.
Hang on, got it.
Simon closed the bulkhead and scurried back into the basement. In a corner, a worn and threadbare chair was draped with a white sheet. With a flourish, he whipped it off the chair and rooted around on a shelf, finding a pair of gardening shears. After a few frustrating moments attempting to use them to cut with, 3 holes were indeed cut out.
Oh, you can't be serious.
Oh, come on, Baldrick, you're a floating head. Best we can do. It's not like you can squeeze into a pair of pants.
That is most embarrassing.
There. Not bad.
You didn't cut the holes evenly. I can only see out the front.
Welcome to the club. Now let's go. We're already behind schedule.
Simon and Baldrick climbed up out of the bulkhead, quickly closing it behind them, and slowly walked towards the bustling Main Street. Baldrick, as the world's shoddiest ghost, floated along behind him, low to the ground. Simon stopped and stared.
This is... Wow.
He'd seen it in picture books and newsreels, and his mother had told him stories of what things had been like before the Great War. Before him was a town square with a gazebo, a trio of costume skeletons playing music. Paper lanterns trailed from streetlight to streetlight. Jack-o'-lanterns burned flickering on stacks of hay with sentinel rows of cornstalks clustered about them. People were everywhere. Faces he'd seen before, and some barely remembered from time in the vault. Witches and soldiers, Lady Liberty, and furry black cats. Cut-out paper ghouls smirking at festering skeletons. Witches on brooms, vampires with fangs dripping. Lights glowed out warmly onto the clean, uncracked sidewalks. The tinkle of bells whispering everyone a happy Halloween as they entered empty-handed and emerged with steaming cups of cider or boxes of goodies. Completely despite himself, tears welled up in his eyes and he inhaled deeply. What he drank in greedily wasn't mud or foul air. It wasn't the smell of death or choking dust or throat-burning ash. It was the undying autumn. Crisp leaves, spiced apple and pumpkin, sizzling sausage from a street vendor, and clean, cooling, delicious wind. When he dreamed of a place just like this, always popping like a bubble in the waking world.
Sir? Sir, are you all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The moment passed. The dark thoughts, reality, and comfortable pain returned, and he was himself again.
Come on. We need to get across town to the funeral parlor before we do anything else. I have business to attend to.
All this joviality about, do you think we have time to do some trick or treating?
No, Baldrick, we don't have time for trick-or-treating.
He caught the sight of his reflection in the window of a hardware store, his vampire cape fluttering behind him, the top of the Chinese stealth suit he had on just underneath, peeking over the collar. He needed no vampire makeup. He scarcely recognized himself. His face was drawn, skin pale and waxy. Deep circles were under his eyes, and stubble scattered unevenly over his face. He quickly looked away and walked faster through the smiling, laughing crowds. And it is with a bit of irony that he had looked at his reflection at that exact moment, as Chad and MaryAnne crossed his path, exiting an alley of their own, darting down the alley behind Brian's candy shop, where the usual crowd was topping up before the Harvest Festival. Now, don't turn the page quite yet. We're not done with Simon. They hurried out of the town square and down a long road flanked with whispering cornstalks. Up ahead, down a dirt-rutted drive, was a large, dark Victorian house with a fog-shrouded cemetery just beyond. Its windows were dark, and it was deathly quiet. The wind keened about its gabled eaves and chimneys.
Sir, this place is...
Yeah. I know. Come on, let's go around back. Not too keen on going in through the front door. Where the hell's our backup support?
They should have breached the wall past the cemetery by now.
Something's wrong. The White Spring bots were supposed to meet us here.
Maybe they were met by resistance and entered the building.
That wasn't the plan. I don't like this. Let's take that sheet off you. Keep your eyes peeled.
Oh, thank God I can see again.
Making their way around the gravel circular driveway, they entered a vine-choked morning garden. Its water fountains and reflecting pool murky and still. Scattered around the backyard were patches of ashen scorch marks and still flickering flames on the shrubbery, grass, and vines.
Signs of a firefight?
Looks like it. Maybe you were right. Looks like the ground was torn up. Heading over this way.
Just past tall hedges, they came upon a long sloping bulkhead ramp behind one wing of the house. At the bottom of the ramp, a steel-reinforced door with a keypad was set in the foundation. A red klaxon light was sputtering on its broken fixture. Simon fumbled in his pocket and loaded his laser pistol.
Baldrick, can you bypass the security?
That should be simple. Let's just remove the keypad. A crosslink here, and a wire there, and voila!
Nicely done.
Simon opened the door and noted that its interior was covered in bloody prints. Light flickered inside weakly, and a waft of coppery air met them.
Well, it doesn't look great. Come on, Baldrick, and be ready to open fire.
The basement of the funeral home had once been sterile and clean, polished concrete floors and tile walls, but now bore the unmistakable signs of chaos and slaughter. Uniformed soldiers torn asunder, limbs missing, heads shattered like smashed pumpkins on the walls. 3 assault drones, wearing the guise of scarecrows, smoked and sputtered.
Oh, I don't like this.
Those are judiciary guards.
Yeah, this place is a bloodbath. Can you detect the White Spring bots?
I'm not detecting any movement in the vicinity, Master.
Look over here. These Assaultrons have been modified, dressed up as scarecrows.
Which way should we go?
That brainwashing facility must be somewhere down here. We need to find Amata, and if I'm very lucky, we'll find Chad as well. Come on, let's go left.
Why left?
I'm left-handed.
Oh, very scientific then.
Oh, shut up.
They slowly moved down the western corridor, stepping over bodies, junk-filled paper bags, and more shattered scarecrow assaultrons. They stopped at a set of closed double doors, frosted glass lettered with the words, "Reconditioning Suite." The door itself was sealed shut.
Baldrick, can you do your magic again on this handprint scanner?
These are a little more complex, but I can override the hand scanner system and unlock all the doors.
Do it.
Charging generator. Please stand back. Discharging. Scanners overloaded. Doors are unlocked, sir.
Be ready. In we go.
He nudged the door open and peeked inside, pistol aimed as he shined his Pip-Boy flashlight into the darkened interior.
Coast is clear.
Banks of computer monitors were smashed and smoking. The remains of 3 lab-coated technicians were strewn about the control room. Opposite the door, a large glass window, now smashed to pieces, looked out into a large circular room that reminded Simon of pictures he'd seen of medical school operating theaters. A ring of lounge chairs sat before the television monitors, and all was dark and quiet.
Baldrick, do you think you can access the data drives and see if you can get a layout of this place?
Certainly, sir. Just connect my auxiliary cable to that input there.
Sure, hang on. What's that?
This better be good, Fletcher. We're prepping for the Harvest Festival. Everything's ready at the school.
I'm glad you're enjoying the cider, Sinclair, because we're well and truly fucked.
You are the most dramatic man I've ever had the displeasure to deal with. What are you on about?
There was a firefight at the funeral home. They breached the facility and are sweeping through the tunnels towards the downtown.
Who did?
Some Assaultrons and golf carts kamikazed the perimeter wall by the cemetery. We're breached. An army of them came through.
So, have the mayor deal with it.
He already did. He activated the neighborhood watch units. All of them.
Before you ordered him to?
Yes, you fucking idiot. I warned you against relying on an AI.
Sinclair to Mr. Tricentennial, report. Mr. Mayor, report.
Happy Harvestide, Principal Sinclair. It's going to be a spooktacular Halloween here in beautiful Sanctuary Acres.
Yeah, whatever. Status report of the Neighborhood Watch.
We had some mischief makers penetrate outer defenses. Don't worry, your friendly Neighborhood Watch scared the crow right out of them. Unfortunately, we lost some units, but they are currently pushing them back towards downtown. Not to worry, we'll best these Halloween interlopers yet.
How many units are sentinel in the cemetery?
Why, none of them. It's Halloween. Time for spooks and goblins to run free.
There's no one dealing with the cemetery?
I need you to direct 2 units to return to the cemetery to ensure containment.
Unfortunately, Principal Sinclair said that would risk disruption of the Harvest Festival, and we can't have that. Enemy forces take priority over containment of the interred.
I am giving you a direct order.
That order would be in conflict with the previous Master Directive issued.
What directive?
That the Harvest Festival must go off without a hitch. Ensure that it does by any means necessary. Well, it appears as though enemy forces are breaching the Pine Street conduit and are interrupting trick-or-treating. After on, better.
Mayor, previous order is countermanded. Answer me.
He's offline.
He can't be.
He disconnected from the network. Good job. He's operating autonomously now. This is deja vu all over again.
This isn't working. Ring the bell. We're going to end trick-or-treat early and round everyone up at the school.
We're starting early?
We need to get back control of the situation.
What about the cemetery?
Old-fashioned target practice. I hope you're good with the gun, Fletcher. If we wrap this up quickly, we can re-enter everyone.
I contained some of the infected in the facility and locked it down, but they may make their way through the corridors to town.
Let's wrap this up. Sinclair out.
Baldrick? Did he?
He said this facility was locked down to keep something in, sir.
And we just unlocked all the doors.
At the far end of the operating theater, a door burst open. Simon looked as a dozen or more people, men and women, grotesquely covered in putrid vines, entered, making guttural screams.
Oh, of course. Do you have anything useful?
Amata has been interred in the cemetery, as has Johnson Chad.
And that's where we're going. Let's get out of here.
Disconnecting from the servers, Simon backpedaled towards the hallway, laser pistol firing. They slammed the doors and took off running, the exit just ahead. Down the far corridor in the distance, a horde of creatures were spilling down the hallway towards them at a run.
The hell are those?
They appear to be infected with some sort of biological infection.
Out! Get outside!
They burst out into the backyard once more. Simon turned back to the keypad, slamming the door behind them.
Can you lock the door again?
I can try, but there's no guarantee it'll hold.
Fine, it'll buy some time.
Hold on. Crossing some wires and locked.
Phew, come on, let's go.
Hurrying up the ramp, Simon spotted shovels leaning against the side of the house. Grabbing one, they marched through a rose-covered archway, the swirling fog of the cemetery parting to welcome them in.
Sir, I'm detecting movement from multiple directions.
Guards? Or more of those things?
Undetermined.
They passed rows and rows of tombstones, and something that had bothered Simon before came bubbling back up. Something with a town layout that didn't make sense.
Baldrick, how many houses are there in Sanctuary Acres?
There are 42 houses with configurations for approximately 70 people. Why?
Simon stopped walking. His heart began to hammer in his chest. The moon peeked through the fog just then. The fog dissipating, and Simon made a small whine of terror. The cemetery stretched out in all directions around them. Here and there, where solid ground should have been, were dark holes of disturbed earth.
They didn't have room for everyone.
Sir, are you all right?
They couldn't make a town big enough for everyone.
Do you mean... Oh dear.
The horrible truth laid bare as shadowy forms emerged from the fog and slowly turned in their direction. 70 people above, the rest below, waiting for their turn. Simon's mind reeled at the horror of his friends, buried alive, digging their way out only to be buried alive again. How many times? For how many years? But something had gone wrong. The soil itself was contaminated.
We need to go.
A hand, covered in moldy green spores, emerged from the ground and grabbed hold of his ankle. Simon turned to run and fell backwards as the earth heaved upwards, as if the cemetery itself was vomiting up its contents from below. Simon recognized the face instantly. It was a face he knew, a face he looked into as she died, a face he saw as he ate and fed.
Oh, you've got to be shitting me. No.
She tilted her head for a moment, blood-tinged earth tumbling from her mouth. There was no doubt about it. Tits McGee.
No, I'm not. No, I am not getting killed by Tits fucking McGee.
Simon kicked her in the face repeatedly as she scrambled to haul herself from the ground.
Get off! Get off me, Baldrick!
Hold on, sir!
Baldrick's flamethrower arced and she recoiled, releasing Simon as she flailed her arms around as she burst into flames. At the instant she became a human torch, screaming a shrill cry, the earth seemed to respond. A great heaving and quaking began, soil splitting and shifting, gravestones tumbling over like dominoes. Something was rising to the surface.
Run! Go!
Simon and Baldrick ran blindly as the graves behind them began to lift. A horrible stench releasing in a deep hiss. The breath of something so large that the fog parted momentarily from the exhalation. Enough for Simon to get his bearings. The gate, the street beyond.
There, come on!
Simon kicked open the wrought iron gate and hit the sidewalk in a gallop. He paused and turned, his mind reeling at the sight of a titan rising up out of the cemetery. Vines whipping into the night air, dripping fluids like rain down upon the chasm where the cemetery once had been. Sodden earth tumbled away, seeping yellow barrels of radiation, clanking and banging with it, splitting and rupturing, their toxic green vapors releasing into the night sky. Simon's eyes widened when he finally saw them. At the end of each horrible fleshy green tentacle was the unmistakable form of a person, all crying out in unison, one of them still burning and on fire.
What the fuck?
Sir! Come on!
Simon began running again back towards the town, the streets now eerily empty, jack-o'-lanterns still burning, the smell of burnt pumpkin in the air, plastic candy bowls now emptied, rolling around on porches in the chill air. The Harvest Festival had begun!
Oh my God!
Now, Flip your book and turn the page as we return to Chad's perspective, as an argument is underway at Brian's candy shop.
Let me get this straight, and I really shouldn't even be talking to you, Chad. Killer communists from outer space replacing everyone and infecting people with some kind of zombie virus that turned your parents into plant people?
More or less, yeah.
And to keep ourselves from turning into plant people, like you almost were, we need to drink some of Moose's stinky, illegal moonshine?
That's about it, yeah.
Well, pardon me, Mr. Unnamed, but as founder of the Temperance and Abstinence Society of Sanctuary Acres, I am appalled at having this illegal moonshine in my clean and wholesome candy shop.
Dude, you are literally pushing sugar on people in exchange for caps. You profit off everyone getting a sugar high.
How would you like me to smack you silly?
How would you like me to put a whole pumpkin right up your tight ass?
Boys, that's enough.
Look, it all sounds really out there, Chad.
What do you have to say, Donkeyman?
What the hell? It's Halloween. I'm in. Yeehaw!
What about Betsy?
If it's too good for prissy Patsy, then I'm in.
Excuse me?
You're excused.
I will not allow drinking in this establishment. Have you all learned nothing from my poetry night lectures on Nathaniel Courier and the Drunkard's Progress lithograph from January 1846? Step 1 begins with a glass and a friend. Step 2 is just a glass to keep the cold out.
Yeah, I don't have time for another fucking sing-along, Brian.
Step 8 leads to desperation and some crime. Step 9 is death by suicide.
Oh my God, will you shut up? Look, gang, we've been against the ropes before. Remember the summer picnic? When I led us to victory in the three-legged race?
Three-legged Chad! Yeehaw!
Or you, Solomon, when you fell down that well, who made you a rope ladder to get you out?
You did, Chad.
In all the years we've known each other, you've known me to never tell no tales or falsehoods. I don't know where Moose is, where my sister or family are, but I know one thing. No matter what this town has come up against, we've always banded together to make it through. I don't know if it's communists or plant people from Dimension X, or just a bunch of assholes playing games with us because they can. I'm asking you to trust me right now.
Just one drink?
That's all.
Oh, my mom is gonna kill me.
Patsy, I am appalled.
Brian.
What?
You've had your doubts about this town. You confided in me, and I never told a soul.
MaryAnne, that was
a cupcake with all the sweetest icing in the world can't be swallowed if it's moldy inside. It may look good in the case, but it's not real.
But I can't drink alcohol. What if I become a heathen or a serial masturbator?
You masturbate with cereal? Yeehaw!
That is not what I meant, and you know it.
Please?
Oh, fudge nipple surprise, fine. But I'm going first. If this devil's cocktail is going to drive anyone to foul temptations, I'm not going to be responsible for it happening to any of my patrons in my shop.
Here you go, dude. Bottoms up.
It burns! It burns! Oh, call Father Flanagan! I am feeling him enter me! Oh, he's in my belly! Oh, sweet baby Jesus, Satan is making me carry his spawn! I can feel it burning inside!
I just, honestly, with this guy, I can't. I just can't.
There's the good stuff. Come on, everyone, drink up.
Tumblers were emptied, and one by one, they felt the light-headed effects of Moose's moonshine working its magic. One by one, flashes of memory, mirror shards, and bits of personality emerged from behind blocks.
Like, I don't feel any different. Ew, Betsy! What the hell are you wearing?
A hoop skirt. Why?
You've like the biggest cankles I've ever seen.
Shut up, you cow.
Oh, MaryAnne!
Yes?
I don't know. I feel like I want to, say something. Something important.
It'll be okay. Just breathe. Oh, that stuff burns.
Let's go punch some communists. Yeehaw!
Looks like none of you are infected, and this stuff will keep it that way. Something's wrong. They're starting the Harvest Festival early.
I think I'm dying. I can feel it in my blood. Oh, I don't like this at all. How can I undrink it?
I don't think it works like that, Brian. Here, have a cupcake. You'll be fine.
I'm not feeding the devil baby in my belly. You hear that, devil baby? Starve! Oh, first chance I get, you're going to drink some of Father Flanagan's holy tonic water.
I wish this guy would get laid eventually.
Happy Harvestide, Sanctuary Acres. It's me, your vault boy, Mr. Tricentennial. 13 bells tolled and our annual Harvest Festival has begun. We're getting the festivities started early this year because we've planned a big surprise. Everyone is to join us at the school for some thrilling songs, dance, and costume prizes. Happy Halloween, Sanctuary Acres!
Come on, we need to get to the school and warn everybody.
Bring those kegs. We're gonna spike the punch bowls.
One by one, the gang spilled out into the streets. As the assembled masses of the town in their costume finery paraded towards the school and the open doors of the gymnasium, tiki torches burning in a row along the walkway. Below them, an unheard firefight was underway as the neighborhood watch scarecrows clashed with the White Spring assaultrons, pushing them back towards the school basement through secret tunnels. Even further beyond, something large was rising into the sky, its 100-fold eyes turning to face the noise and lights of the downtown. Oh yes, children, it was going to be a Halloween to remember. The Harvest Festival was a sight to behold. Chinese pumpkin lanterns strung from corner to corner. Green, orange, and black paper mache ornaments abounded. Hay and pumpkins, corn husks, and skeletal scarecrows here and there. The school band was playing the old haunted favorites, and the smiling crowd danced, talked, and ate around heaping buffet tables. Principal Sinclair watched it all from the top of the bleachers, his hands clasped behind his back. Darting here and there surreptitiously, Solomon, Patsy, Betsy, Donkeyman, and Chad poured moonshine into the brimming bowls of hot, steaming cider.
There, that should do it.
It's gonna take a while for everyone to circle back and drink it.
Where's Solomon?
He's over there singing to a spotlight.
Mothman sing in the dead of night. Take these shiny bulbs and help me fly. All my life, I've only been waiting for your dust to arrive.
Well, he's gone. Great. Where's Brian?
He's over there flirting with Tiffany. He's a bit of a lightweight.
Did you know that during the Victorian era, people did the sex? Oh, you're such a rascal. I'd give you such a hysterical paroxysm, you dirty girl. Wanna come by my shop and watch me pull taffy?
Oh my God, you're such a freak! I love it! Oh, hi, Chad. Sorry you can't bang me. Okay, bye! Come on, Candyman!
Great, we need to speed things up, get everyone to drink. Wait, I got it. MaryAnne, this calls for a speech.
A speech? But I'm not valedictorian yet. Like, over my dead body, I'm a shoo-in.
We need someone to give a speech, a call for a toast.
Well, I guess I could say something. You couldn't say your way out of a paper bag.
Patsy shoved her way onto the stage, whispering to the singer, and the band cut off the music. From the bleachers, Principal Sinclair glared and gestured to Fletcher, who ignored him and stepped out into the hallway.
If I could have everyone's attention. Everyone? Hey! Like, shut up for a minute. Thank you. Happy Harvesttide, everyone. I know it's a little out of the ordinary, but I wanted to raise a toast to the one man every year who brings us all together and makes, this thing work. Or something. Principal Sinclair! So, everyone grab some cider there. There you go. That's right. Billy Watkins, if you could please pull up your pants. That doesn't look anything like a pumpkin, you sick weirdo. What can I say about our dear principal? You know, he's really good with making sure things are clean and stuff. And this one time in chemistry class, my hair caught fire and he was the first one to put it out. Thanks for the help, Mr. S. You know. So, words and stuff. Well, hey, let's all raise our glasses and...
Just a few seconds more, and almost the entire town would have sipped the steaming cider. A few precious seconds, and perhaps this story would have ended differently. However, the chain of events didn't play out that way. Just below the gymnasium floor, the last of the White Spring bots and the neighborhood watch were in a fight to the death. 2 against 2. Both sides were charging up their devastating eye lasers to maximum, power building to a crescendo. They discharged with devastating effect. The beams collided, rebounding into an explosion of energy. The gym floor exploded upwards with devastating force. Reddish light flooded the room, flaming debris raining down upon them. The chaos was instantaneous. Decorations bursting into flame, tables spilling, hot cider brimming with alcohol, spilling onto the floor and igniting.
What the fuck was that?
Fletcher! Everyone, get outside now.
MaryAnne!
MaryAnne, where are you?
Brian, I'm over here. Leg pinned.
Hold on, I've got you.
Careful. Oh.
You have a compound fracture, it looks like. Oh, we've got to get out of here. Come on, loop over my shoulders. I've got you.
Get outside, now.
Oh my God! I'm on fire! Oh no! I know what I'll do! I'll run outside real fast! Whee!
Chad joined the panicked mob as they streamed out of the smoking gymnasium, fire now licking out of the windows as the wooden bleachers joined the conflagration.
Now what? Now what the hell are we gonna do?
Across the common, cloak flapping in the wind, Chad saw a lone figure standing. A robot of some kind by his side. Yes, he remembered from stories of life before the Great War. Mr. Handy. The figure's face was a burning mask of hatred.
Chad, I told you. I'm going to tear down your whole fucking world.
The figure drew a gun. Chad's breath caught in his throat, and by chance the mayor, moving with demonic speed, barreled up from behind the figure, picking him up by the back of his neck and hurling him to the side. The man's gun skittering off into the feet of the running crowd.
Happy Harvest-tide, everyone! Gosh, this has been lots of fun. But it's harvest time. Everyone grab a partner. 3, 2, 1, and here we go!
The loudspeakers, every loudspeaker, every radio in town crackled to life and began to emit a strange sound with crackling white noise. At that instantaneous moment, almost everyone in town froze in place, eyes glazing over. Everyone except Chad and the Moonshine Buzzed gang.
What the hell is that?
Fletcher ran up from behind Chad, grabbed him, and pulled him around to the side of the building.
You son of a bitch! What do you do to the real Fletcher? I don't give a shit if you're a communist or an alien. This town's ours.
Shut up, you goddamned moron. I woke you up.
What?
This has to end. All of this. I knew Moose would find the steel back there. I knew what he'd do with it. I had everything planned, but things are spiraling out of control. We have to be fast. It's going to start any minute now.
What is?
The harvest. Look, all of you have been brainwashed. There's no time to explain everything, but you know enough now that you've seen stuff bleeding through, right? Memories, nightmares, something that doesn't make sense with your life.
Yeah, but I don't...
We have to take out the mayor and shut down that signal.
What does it do?
Let's have a party!
It's starting.
Not another goddamn musical number, dude. Weak.
The song's effect was instantaneous. Everyone began twitching, smiles spreading across their teeth, eyes glassy, and all at once, pandemonium broke out. It was a town-wide brawl, everyone out for blood. The truth about Harvest-tide lay bare. Chad watched open-mouthed as Tiffany, still fully engulfed and on fire, tore a plank off a park bench and began bashing in the head of Billy Bixby, who ran the 50 and 100 cap store on the corner. Mr. Wilson emerged from the hardware store, dual-wielding nail guns, and began firing nails into the throng. Solomon was defending himself with a religious fervor, wielding a flaming stalk of corn. Everyone, and I mean everyone, was killing everyone else.
We've got to shut it down.
How? Now, flip your book and turn the page as we return to Simon's perspective, as he gathers himself up off the sidewalk, a deep and vengeful fury overtaking him. He could scarcely hear Baldrick yelling at him.
Sir, they're broadcasting! We have to shut it down! It's ordering them to kill each other!
Oh my... what?
The instructions encoded in the carrier song. We have to shut it down!
By the time MODUS gets a lock on each triangulation point, everyone's going to be dead. Come on, let's try and shut it down at the source.
They ran into the town hall. Simon skidded on the waxed floors as he noted a small split flapboard circling through displaying offices.
Mayor's office is on the second floor.
Tearing up the stairs, they burst into the office. It contained no furniture. No, just banks of computers, a chair, a microphone, and a holotape recording deck.
Turn it off.
The broadcast was already sent. Turning it off, they'll just keep going, sir.
There's got to be something, damn it. Wait. Memory manipulation, hang on. I'm remembering something from studying for my goats. Music activates some of the broadest and most diverse networks of the brain, yeah?
It does, sir, via the auditory cortex, but additionally synchronizes multiple parts of the brain and even the motor system. Studies conducted on elderly citizens noted memory restoration, or even recall if they heard a particular song or series of notes.
Yes, exactly. Could you create a signal pattern of your own and embed it in a carrier wave in the form of a song?
We can. However, the studies only showed memory recall if the notes were hyper-personal. Musical tastes vary from individual to individual. We'd need a song that they would all be connected to.
I've got it. Come on, let's get you hooked up.
Oh my God!
Now, flip your book and turn the page as we return now to Chad's perspective, as he and Fletcher run wildly through the bloodthirsty crowd.
The town hall. Come on!
Darting across the common, dodging people fighting to the death left and right, they came upon Mrs. Ellison, dressed as a naughty nurse, strangling Mrs. Brown of the garden club with a string of Halloween lights. As the town hall loomed just ahead, Mr. Mayor ran to a stop in front of them, his leering Vault Boy mask ominous, reflecting the flickering light as the school behind them was now fully engulfed.
Time's up!
The mayor's metal flew up, grabbing Fletcher by the throat, lifting him off his feet as he kicked and punched in futility.
Your services are no longer required.
Let him go.
Chad threw a punch, recoiling in pain as he punched hard metal beneath the garish blue and yellow suit.
Kill it with what?
He ran over and picked up a piece of pipe out of the dead hand of the milkman and began hammering on the mayor to no avail. A gunshot echoed across the common, and the mayor's arm sparked and released Fletcher, dropping him to the ground in a heap, circuits buzzing beneath. Sinclair stalked swiftly towards them.
If there's one thing I can't stand, it's a military asset that will not do what they are told.
He began firing again, the mayor staggering backwards.
Well, shucks. This is no way to play.
It reached up, removing his Vault Boy metal helmet. The red glare of the Assaultron eye laser already fully powered. Sinclair dodged and rolled out of the way, just as the beam discharged, sweeping across the common and atomizing 4 people in its wake before blasting through the front of Brian's candy shop.
Oh, fudge patties, my store! My store! Oh.
The Vault Boy looked down at Chad, while he, frozen in terror, held fast.
You've been a bad boy, and we know what to do with bad boys, don't we?
The weapon charged again, the red light blinding him, tears streaking down his face. All around him he could hear the sounds of people he knew being slaughtered like animals. The music cut out suddenly, replaced by a new song. Everyone left alive stopped and listened.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
The mayor looked away quizzically as everyone stood up holding their heads. A shockwave of pain rippled through his mind, and Chad stumbled, hands flying to the sides of his head. Flashes of Vault 76, of friendship, of Reclamation Day, of lemonade stands and graves, of summer days and winter nights with cheerleaders, of a child lost and alone. It showed him how lost and alone he too had been without knowing it. A family, friends, a home, every good day and bad day. The mayor turned its attention back to Chad.
Well, that all sucks.
As its weapon began to charge again, Chad looked up and smirked.
You know what, Mr. Red-Eye? You should really get that eye looked at. Take me home, country roads.
As the beam readied to fire, Chad thrust the metal pipe directly into the emitter, shattering the lens. Crackling ribbons of energy radiating outwards in arcs.
Time to say goodbye.
And with that, the first and only mayor of Sanctuary Acres was no more.
God, I hate fucking robots, dude.
Chad?
You fucknuts have a lot of explaining to do. And when you're done, I'm gonna decide whether I'm gonna turn your ass into human piñatas.
Ew! What in the hell am I wearing?
Pats?
Chad?
You!
Ow, dude, what the fuck?
If you ever, and I mean ever, so much as look at my girl again, I know 1,001 ways to kill you. But my personal favorite is using a tranquilizer dart, pinning your body down with weights, coating your naughty bits with honey, and then letting the ants eat it while you watch. All of it. Are you hearing the words coming out of my mouth?
Yeah, dude, holy shit.
Well, gosh, Brian. Normally I'm not a fan of hypermasculine displays of ownership and aggression, but I've gotta tell ya, I think my toast just curled.
Is anyone else just so tired of this crap?
Yes, Betsy, I very much am.
And you?
Yes, you who defiled my person.
You know, I'm normally a very polite person with a charming and cheery, optimistic view on life. But after everything we've been through, I think the survivors recreating the traditional ritual of the ancient Aztecs in which the enemy's heart is pulled from their chest would be a wonderful way to begin the healing process.
Right you are, Brian.
You know, as much as I'd love to oblige, I have plans to attend to. It's become clear to me that this experiment has reached its end, and all that remains is the cleanup. The Enclave is declaring war on Appalachia.
Goddamn scrap kits. Now I know how the judge feels.
As the weary survivors looked around, the ground began to tremble. Windows shattered in their frames.
Now what, dude? What the fuck?
Now, flip your book and turn the page, as we return now to Simon's perspective, as Baldrick has completed transmission of the song that brought them all together.
It worked, Baldrick. Everyone stopped. We did it. We saved them.
Sir!
Amazing. I knew it. I just knew it. Oh, man.
Sir!
What?
Sir, turn around.
Simon did, and his triumphant smile faded. The cemetery horror, its mass blocking out the moon from view, slithered down the street. Fine tentacles smashing through windows and doors, the people at the ends of them wailing in unison.
Yeah.
I've got an idea.
I've got an idea. Jinx, come on. We don't have a lot of time.
The people at the ends of said tentacles wailing in unison. Tearing down the back staircase, they exited the town hall, cutting over a street away from the creature.
Should be right here, Mark.
Signal locked. Please proceed.
Come on, Baldrick. We've got 2 more and we can blast this thing from orbit.
Now, flip your book and turn the page as we return now to Chad's perspective as they stand aghast the horror slithering down Main Street.
Oh, Jesus Christ on a jetpack.
Dude, what the hell is that? Just what were you all experimenting with?
That wasn't us. We don't know what caused it.
Fascinating! It's the majestic giant stranglerheart blossom.
Brian? Are those people attached to its arms?
Why, yes! It does appear to have formed a hive-minded bond and become a gestalt entity. Oh, I wish I had my camera.
We don't have anything to kill that thing, dude. Fletcher, how the hell do we get out of here?
Pine Street is the closest. There's a subterranean exit. Let's go!
As the survivors turned to run, the creature reached the common, its petals opening wide, noxious gases pouring out into the atmosphere, raining down spores. Chad was horrified to see a tentacle with Commander Johns at the end, mouth open in a frozen scream, green veins weaving in and out of his skin. A tentacle slithered towards Betsy as the Night Wolf grabbed hold of her, biting into her shoulder.
Nope, no way, dude. I'm done. I've done my good for today.
They ran off down Pine Street, the creature crushing the town hall flat in an instant. Fletcher paused at a telephone pole, entering in a key code. The street shook and pivoted up and open with a grinding of gears.
Go, go! Straight down the hall and out the doors at the far end, and you're in the clear.
We're not done. Where the fuck is my daughter?
She's safe. I saved her. He can't know that I helped you. Not yet. Wait for me at the Rusty Pit. I'll come find you as soon as I can, and I'll take you to her. I promise you no harm has come to her. They wanted to kill her. I didn't want this.
I'm telling you, right now, if there's so much as a scratch on her, I'm coming for all of you big time.
She's fine, I assure you. But get ready, because you have no idea what's coming.
No, dude, he doesn't. And that's a promise.
Behind them, sonic booms echoed across the sky as trailing balls of fire rained down from above.
That you?
No, but I think I know who it is.
Oh yeah?
Simon Rex. He's out.
Not for long, dude.
Behind them, the Kovac Muldoon pummeled relentlessly, the people held in its grasp, vaporizing one by one. Yet another death for them all. But here, as always, never a permanent one. Chad emerged into the familiar murky gloom of the mire and joined the crowd as they split up, going their separate ways towards the homes they had left years ago now. They looked behind just once as the fires reached higher into the October night sky, the horror of their ordeal only just now dawning on them. Sanctuary Acres was to be buried and forgotten as they had been. But as a place it had been as if an extended limb lobbed off and cast away. So long had he been part of them, that even now and still the whispers of the programmed routines and memory-hungry predators still stalked in the shadow of their minds. Like a ghostly limb, they would feel its presence, its horror, and even its loss for a long, long time. Halloween Scares was produced in partnership with the Sugar Bombs Corporation. This original story was written by G.M. Ackley. And now, enjoy the sounds perfect to set the tone for your next gala event for All Hallows Eve, or to scare up the front steps for all those boils and ghouls who come a-knocking on your front door.
If anyone knocks Mr. Storyteller after that tale, I think I'd jump right out of my skin. Can't believe they marketed the stuff to kids. Hello? Scout Jonathan Brown to base! Where the hell is assistance?
This is Albert Vince, former Vault-Tec security supervisor to Vault 76. I've recorded over the automated announcements here and looped it back to keep playing, hoping if anyone is dumb enough to scout around here, you'll hear this. I'm recording this message as a warning. We managed to round up the last of the ghouls and seal them into this back storeroom, but the door controls were shot. We pulled the fuses, and I've taped over the fuse switches in the utility room. So for the love of God, don't touch them.
No. Oh no! Base camp! Where the hell are you?
If you're hearing this, it means we've succeeded.
No!
Hope so,
no!
anyway. Good
Base camp! Please! Office! I have to get out. I have to get out.
That's right, kids.
Gotta get out of here.
Many of our songs and nursery rhymes hold surprisingly dark origins. For example, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, a tune you've no doubt heard during fried chicken summer picnics on the 4th of July. Originally, it was written by Union soldiers from the 2nd Massachusetts Infantry Battalion to honor a famous abolitionist who made a name for himself right here in Appalachia.
Ah! Base camp! Base camp! I need help, please! This is Scout Jonathan Brown! I'm trapped!
It was called John Brown's Body.
What?
Sing along with me now, kids, on this All Hallows Eve, the hungriest day of the year. And now, kids, the longer the things that crawl wait in the dark, the hungrier they get. And oh boy, are they hungry! John Brown's body lies a-moultering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-moultering in the grave. John
can't be happening.
This can't be happening. In the grave. His soul goes marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His soul goes marching on. Happy Halloween, kids!
The soil and the dust are trailing behind my boots. Blown by the wind, showed me a piece of my past. The soil and the dust is where we go. 6 feet under, whatever your uniform says. The smell of the dust is sticking onto my clothes. Burns my throat, sent shivers down my spine. The smell of the dust makes us just the same. What makes us different is just a bullet away. No pride but shame. No pride can bring the corpse from the graveyard. May the souls rest in peace up above. Some say we'll follow them down in the wind. Sooner or later, we're gonna pay the bill. The taste of the dust is lingering in my mouth. Burns my throat, sends shivers down my spine. We taste the dust when we crow. 6 feet under, whatever your uniform says. No pride but shame. No pride can bring a corpse from the graveyard. May the souls rest in peace up above. Some say we'll follow them down in the wind. Sooner or later, we're gonna pay the bill. We'll fly in the sky, blown like the dust, the soil and dust. Ooh, I thought of smoking.
Base Camp Delta to serving Squad 2. Squad 2, come in.